Hi, it's Dr. Gemma, and today's strategy is about what I called sweat in a previous video, where I recommended one way to prevent sitting in the office of a mental health specialist like myself, which is to sweat, that is to exercise, okay? And in that last strategy, or that previous strategy, I talked about some of the reasons why you should. So I don't want to belabor that too much, but let's admit it. Many of us don't like to exercise. That would include me, and yet I have been a runner since the age of 10 years old, which makes it 49 years of running. And you got to ask yourself, how did I do this without destroying my knees, having a prolapsed uterus, and all the other weird things people told me would happen to me if I was a lifelong runner? And the answer is what I'm about to tell you, is that there are ways to sweat that help your body, and you can do it safely and productively, and you can adapt it to you. And that's what we're really talking about, okay? Because like you, I really hate it when I go for my annual physical and the doctor goes into, you need to exercise, because for most of my life, I've been obese, okay? So having doctors say this to me has always been one of the low points of my year. And yet, through all that time, I did my first marathon when I was 43. I've done 3 of them, and I've lost count, but I think 13 or 14 half marathons. Most of the time I stick to 5Ks, which are 3 miles, and the occasional 6-mile 10K. Why should I do this? In a nutshell, when you exercise regularly, and that means raising your heartbeat to the level where you sweat, you will improve your own mood. That is, it relieves depression. You will reduce anxious mood. You will regulate your own sleep. You will improve the strength of your heart and your blood vessels. You will improve the functioning of your lungs. And by the way, I am a lifelong asthmatic, and so that's going to lead into some of what I have to say here. But you have to really give up the excuse that you've got some chronic illness and find the best you can do. All right, so it will improve your lung function. It will improve your resistance to illness, to sickness. The year that I was marathoning, for 2 years straight, no flu and no colds, which blew my mind. All right. And finally, exercise will support weight loss for you. It will not make you lose weight. That is a common mistake people make. Exercise actually doesn't do a lot to make you lose weight, except what it does is it strengthens your body in a way, in many ways, that will increase the efficient usage of fuel in your body. So in that sense, if you're out there lifting weights and strengthening your core, or if you're out there running and improving the lung capacity and your ability to burn oxygen better, all of those things make you burn fuel better. When you burn fuel better, you're obviously going to burn the food that you eat better. All right, so it's not a one-to-one thing. If I exercise for half an hour, I lose half a pound. It's more like if I strengthen my body in these ways and I burn fuel more efficiently and my heart and lungs and blood vessels are stronger and more efficient, then down the road, by doing other changes as well, I will lose weight. So the big question is, how do you start? And this is the question so many people skip over. And this, for me as a mental health practitioner, is probably the single most important element of what I'm saying here today. Okay, because we have to be realistic about who we are when we exercise. I don't know who you are, but I'm coming into this with diabetes and with asthma. Okay. So, and I'm a carbohydrate addict. There is no question about it that if I start on carbs, I can't control it, that I really have to be absolutely clean when it comes to eating carbs. So how does a person like me realistically, and I'm 59 years old, did I mention that? So how does a person like me realistically say I'm going to exercise routinely? Well, the first thing you do is you get out a piece of paper or your favorite form of recording your ideas. And you're going to make a list of all the questions you have about you and exercise physically. All right. Can I do it? What do I need to change my meds? What kind of exercises are safe for me? All of those things. You need to write down a list. Okay. Step number 2, make an appointment with your doctor and take the list. Okay. And talk to your doctor. Now, a little sidebar here. For many years, I had a series of doctors who were morbidly obese. That's going to kind of tell you that these may not be the best people to be discussing exercise with. But if you're in a medical group that has healthcare education classes, please take them. please look to see if they have a class on this topic and take your list with you to that. Secondly, one of my favorites was when I was training for my marathons, and I was lean as a rail at the time, one of those moments I wasn't obese. And I go to this doctor, and I'm 42 years old, and she's 30-something. She's right out of med school. And I say, well, I'm working on a marathon. And she looks at me and she goes, where do you run? And I said, well, there's hills around my house. She said, don't do that. You'll have a heart attack. She had no evidence whatsoever to use for this decision. She was simply using her opinion of my age relative to hers, okay? So please make sure your doctor knows something about exercise. Ask your doctor, do they exercise? Look at them. Do they look healthy? For God's sake, if your doctor has just unhealthy looking skin tone and is overweight and is stressed all the time, this is not a realistic source of information about exercise. All right, so please find the doctor who knows about this, and also look into healthcare classes in your community and at your medical practitioner's group practice. All right, but anyway, you need to consult with a doctor. That's a shorthand. Next, fill your prescriptions. That sounds so simple, but you need to be medication compliant. I take something for my thyroid. Absolutely, I cannot run without it. If you have a low thyroid, you will have extraordinary difficulty pursuing an exercise program. Talk to your doctor about your thyroid. Have it tested. This should be one of your concerns if you're in middle age, particularly if you're female, all right? But I must take the medication for that every morning, or I have no energy to run. If you're diabetic, talk to your doctor. This is going to matter about insulin. This is going to matter about metformin, any other drug you're taking. So make sure you're taking your meds, you're compliant with your medication. If you have COPD or lung problems, carry your emergency inhalant. You must make sure you've got it with you. All right. Finally, this is where it starts getting easier. Pull out your calendar and schedule it. Before you start your program, pull out your whatever you use as a calendar and schedule 30 minutes a day. And just have faith. Just say, well, and it may not be the same time every day. And you may say, oh God, I've got to get up at 4:30 to be able to do this and get to the gym and then get to work. Whatever it takes, just do it as an act of blind faith. Don't ask too many questions. Just do the best you can. Next, I'm going to recommend, get a paper journal or some kind of journaling. If you like to journal online, I don't care. But get ready, because you're going to journal your efforts from the day you schedule them. All right. If you don't journal them, you don't have any baseline to know what's working and what's not. So journal your efforts. You may want to journal your food intake, because you're going to start learning what foods make you feel like you can move better. Finally, 30 minutes a day for 30 straight days of walking. That's where you start. I don't care if you're going to swim. I don't care if you're going to bowl. I don't care if you're going to lift weights. You start with 30 minutes a day for 30 straight days of walking. Why? What will happen? First off, you're going to find out you don't do it. You're going to find out, actually, I can only do that 5 days a week. I don't care. Exercising 5 days a week. Exercising 1 day a week, 3 days a week. Anything is better than nothing, okay? So the 30 days of walking for 30 minutes is going to let you problem solve about your schedule. Remember that schedule you made about 30 seconds ago in my time here online, where I said make a schedule with your calendar? You're about to figure out why that does and does not work, and you're going to have to adapt it and adjust it, okay? So the 30 days of walking for 30 minutes is letting you problem solve. How well does this work for me? So in other words, it's also going to solve problems not only in your scheduling, but in a lot of other areas. So it's going to tell you, first of all, what does the minimum amount of healthy exercise feel like? Most people really don't know what it feels like to exercise for 30 minutes. And yet that's the minimum for any adult, 30 minutes a day. So you're going to go find out in the gentlest way possible. Just get out there and walk. I don't care if it's brisk. I don't care if you stop and take pictures of flowers, which is one of the things I do when I'm in the 30-30 phase, because every now and then I stop exercising and restart. Okay? It doesn't matter. Just get out there and do 30 days, because you've got to problem solve. And you've got to figure out, what does it feel like to actually work out for 30 days? If you have problems, chronic problems, you may have foot or back problems, you can't do 30 minutes. You need to know that. You need to know, what can I realistically do? If you're in a wheelchair and we're talking about rolling for 30 minutes, you need to figure out, I can't do that yet. I'm just starting. I can only do it for 10 or 15 minutes. If you're swimming, you need to sort of say, do I have the lung capacities for swimming if I can't even walk this far? All right. The next thing is 30 minutes for 30 days is going to help you select the proper gear. Like right now, this is what I'm wearing right now. I'm about to go out running. This is my gear selection, okay? I'm wearing a shirt from a previous race, but this is a material that breathes well when you sweat. This is what I have found over 40 years of running works to keep my hair out of my face, which is really annoying for me. So the gear issue is a big one. You're going to figure out, if you're walking, these are lousy shoes for walking. I can't believe I'm walking in my Crocs. They work great when I'm on hard tile floors in my job and I'm just walking for brief intervals, but walking 30 minutes actually takes proper shoes. I should research that. So this is going to help you select your gear. Next, 30 for 30 is going to teach you your best locations. We have high winds where I live. You know what? That taught me to go to the gym. When I lived in Pennsylvania, which is a great place for outdoor running and exercise, even in the winter, I hated gyms. Oddly enough, in Southern California with high winds, I love the gym, and I go there quite often. The other thing is you figure out what are good routes. If you're walking as your 30 minutes of exercise for the rest of your life, which is fine if you do that every day, you need to know where you can walk. Where can you walk safely? If it's dark and you're female, where are you going to walk? You're going to just get on a treadmill at the gym? You're going to go down to a lighted walking trail where you know there will be other people around. So 30 for 30 teaches you the best locations. Finally, and probably really obviously from what I'm saying, if you walk 30 minutes a day for 30 days, you're going to figure out, do I want to do this? Or do I want to do something else? Should I be swimming? Should I be running? Should I be jogging? Should I be doing the elliptical? Should I be alternating the type of exercises I do? Right here, bing, bing, bing. In a perfect world, I will do about a mile run twice a week, and then I'll do the elliptical for 30 minutes for the rest of the week. And if I'm feeling restless, I may just get on a treadmill or go out in my neighborhood and walk with my dogs. Okay. By the way, do not forget walking your dog. If you have a pet, that's a great reason to have a dog. That walking a dog will get you doing this. Just make sure your walks with Fido are 30 minutes a day. So there you go. This is my module on how to get yourself going sweating. All right. The ultimate goal is to raise your heartbeat and to make yourself sweat for the majority of the 30 minutes. Now, if I go out, it takes me a few minutes to get up to a brisk walk and to raise my heartbeat. So 30 minutes does not mean necessarily 30 minutes of increased heartbeat, but it's a darn fine start. And so this is what I'd recommend. Please understand that I recognize you may have some physical limitations. You may also have injuries, which I went for years with various tendon problems from my running until I finally found how to keep weight off permanently for me, okay? All these things must be taken into consideration. I cannot talk to you effectively if you're in a wheelchair or you have some serious physical limitation. You're going to have to use your own best judgment. Okay, but that's me from the best place I can give you, how to get yourself exercising, how to get yourself up to performance level. And that will keep you out of my office, and it will destroy my profession and people like me. I'm joking because sadly, there's always going to be mental health issues, but you can prevent a lot of them. And ethically speaking, as a cognitive behavioral therapist, it's my duty to teach you things like this. I don't want you in my office if you don't have to be there. I want you to take care of yourself, and I want you to feel empowered to do that, okay? So there we go. That's our module on sweating. Everybody stay safe, take care of each other, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for all my coffee supporters, and thank you for your loyalty. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.